Tyson Gamble is a former Tiger. This man is a former Newcastle Knight. Played 4 seasons with the Knights. David Clemmer, second season now as a Tiger. Looks fired up. Involved in a little flare-up at the end of the game last week. And with sin bin, we'll see how they fare today. Gamble with the kickoff. It's only a shallow one. Goes down to Buller. It is David Clemmer who brings it out here for the Tigers. Running towards the southern end of Scully Park. No fans on roofs to begin the game, given the conditions across the road on Belmore Street. Might see things improve throughout the game potentially as far as the weather is concerned. Very mixed weather here today. They play it there at the 40 where Papali'i wearing the headgear today, playing in the 13 jumper. And now Fainu almost back at the halfway line. Coruscant missed the game last week in that sometimes spiteful affair against the Bulldogs. He's back from a back injury, a bit of a hip complaint as well. As it is Sullivan who puts the first kick in. We'll go down towards Marju. Armstrong is there though, and he says, I'll take it. And they stop him 15 out from the Newcastle line, and there were some high contacts on the 23-year-old rookie fullback.
Well, Papali'i involved in that tackle. It was a good forward start there from the West Tigers, marching upfield, did it quite comfortably. Really can't see, it's a shoulder really to the head. And Papali'i.
Not much Papali'i could do there. David Armstrong ducked into the tackle. I think he's a lightweight. There's not much of him. He tried to get down low there, and I think he'll try and do that quite often in the wet here.
Off the back of the opening penalty. And it's the Knights just on their own side of halfway. Brayley comes across to Saifiti. They're trying to make a legs tackle with Stefano Uta Ikamanu. Father again for the second time just recently, and was on a flight this morning, Uta Ikamanu, to join the team. As they work it from the 20, and now Hastings comes through the hands there to Adam Elliott, runs towards Papali'i, and they stop him just inside the red zone. 2 plays left in this first set in attack for Newcastle. Gamble. But Tyson Frizzell, back from a hamstring injury, the kind of day to make a return from a hammy complaint. Last play, as Hastings just chips one out wide for Best, tries to tap it backwards. It fell eventually for John Bateman, and who was able to wrap it up without knocking it on, and Charlie Staines works it away for Wes. As they go about their work on this yardage set, we go downstairs to Lara Pitt.
Hard to believe, gents, but we soaked up some sunshine when we first arrived here to Scully Park, but a massive storm passing through. The radar does show that it could ease by the second half, but we've all got the ponchos out down here and the show goes on.
Plenty of dry as a bones in the crowd as well, as you would imagine. In these parts, the home of the golden guitar. It's the kick here from Lockie Galvin down the middle of the field. It'll come down to Armstrong once again. Papali'i is also there, and Uta Ikamanu, and they stop him in a nice solid tackle, 20 out from the Newcastle line. Both teams getting through their opening sets without incidents, despite this rain pouring in this part of the world. It is constant up and down the east coast at the moment. Brayley out of dummy half comes to Best. Papali'i certainly involved early on in this middle forward role, better known as an edge forward. Now Saifiti, good carry there, got across the advantage line very quickly. Plays it. Hastings will kick towards the corner. It's Buller underneath it, and he'll bring it down to be stopped there by Bradman Best.
If Daniel Saifiti ran like that every time he had the ball, he could be the best front rower in the game, or close to it.
I'll tell you what he did find, just the gap in and behind the play the ball straight away, and it allowed Hastings to kick on the front foot. Good play the ball from Saifiti, a great start from him.
The Tigers again, they had trouble at this area of the field in the second half against the Bulldogs. Just camped inside their own 20 for set after set when they had possession. And really cost them any chance of putting on points as they ultimately went down in that one, 22 points to 14, having had the halftime lead. Fainu here again, brought it back to the 40. Second dig at it with the foot on the play the ball. Sullivan's kick, a good one here. Goes down to Marju. Brings it back from the 10. Such a strong runner of the ball and slips past the tackle there of Stafford Toa. Another former Newcastle Knight in this Tigers team today. Best.
Gee, it's a great start there from Marju from a kick return straight away, 15 metres upfield, and then you got Best with a big run from dummy half. The third tackle now, they've made 50 metres already.
As Brayley Waits comes across here to Gamble, who looked to his outside. He only had Dane Gagai there, so he hangs on to it. They've used up 4 plays, just outside the 30 though, as Elliott comes to Hastings. Stepping off the left foot is Dylan Lucas. And that switch made by Adam O'Brien, with Kai Pearce-Paul coming off the bench for the Knights. Hastings to kick again towards the corner. Buller is underneath it. Armstrong was there. He leapt to make a catch of it and put some real pressure on Jareem Buller, who did well to come down with the ball and not knock it on.
Brandy, you know better than anyone. The kick so far from Hastings, I think they've been a little bit shallow. There's not enough height on them so far. That's his third kick.
Yeah, not a real challenge, but at least David Armstrong still did get to the ball and challenge for it. I guess that's all you're looking for, Block. But yeah, I was surprised that one didn't go a bit higher in the air.
It is Uta Ikamanu, almost back at the Tigers 40. Coruscant this time kicking from inside the red stripe. An awkward bounce. Staines is there, kicks it in field. Now it's a race. Toa on the charge. Gagai gets back there, cleans up for Newcastle, and brings it back.
Dane Gagai out of trouble there. Dead and buried, but here come the Knights. I thought Charlie Staines could have had a chance to pick that one up or even fall on it. There was a half a chance if he got the kick right, but it was a low percentage play.
Just tremendous work again. Watch it. It was Anari Tuwara, in fact, not Dane Gagai. In the rain, it's hard to see in that far corner of the field what work it was.
Yeah, he beat 3 Tigers. He was on the dead ball line. Terrific footwork there from Tuala.
Now Elliott off a flat ball there from Brayley at dummy half. Last play in this set for Gamble to kick towards the corner. Go down towards Naden, just backtracking towards his own goal line. Brings it back as he's taken high there. Anari Tuala, a little nervous look at the referee, and now Justin Olam on a carry to play it just at the 20 at the Tigers' end. Charlie Staines, lightweight right winger, comes in to mix it up through the middle. Stopped there by Lucas and also Elliott. A little juggle there for Uto Ekamanu, who hung on to it. Rain has eased suddenly for the moment as Coruscant puts it down to that left-hand side. Lachlan Galvin, a teenager, still just 18 years of age, will play it back in Newcastle territory. Last play for Wes. And Sullivan again doing the majority of the kicking. This one will go down to Armstrong. No pressure there on him. And then Papali'i, nice crunching tackle, takes him to ground just outside the Knights 10.
Well, that's the other big part of his play too. Papali'i, when he plays on the edge, if he doesn't chase as quick or as good, he's been the first man up here on the kick chase so far for the Tigers. You've got to give a rap to both sides. No errors so far. I hope I don't mock them, but the handling has been outstanding because this has been torrential.
So Saifiti, no mistakes as yet. See if the Knights can avoid the commentator's jinx right here. Thompson to almost the halfway line. And Brady looking to his right-hand side where Gamble is posted again, and he'll kick it down that channel of the field. It comes across to Buller, who makes the catch, and again they're doing a great job making the Tigers work it away from the corner on either side of the field. He'll play it for Galvin. And they roll up their sleeves once more. Brent Naden takes a carry. Tigers on a 5-game losing streak after being 2-1 to begin. After the first 4 rounds, they had the bye back in the opening round of the season. Here is Galvin headed out towards the Belmore Street side of Scully Park here in Tamworth. Coruscant there at first receiver. Don't know he was expecting it. Worked out okay though because Clemmer could meet us there beyond contact. Coruscant back to Galvin. Off the right boot. He'll chip it into no man's land between Tuwala and Armstrong. Allowed to bounce. It's play on here. Ending up with it. The Tigers had a chance. Olam was there. But in the end, it's Gamble who cleans up for Newcastle.
Yeah, fell short of David Armstrong, the kick from Lockie Galvin, which brought the wingers and those running back towards the ball into play. Ball went very close to the sideline, which makes it difficult for either side. Certainly the Knights don't want to take it out and give the Tigers another set, but they've come up with it.
Marju in midfield. Benji Marshall riding the pine on the bench with Chris Hyington alongside him. And now Elliott brings it back to be stopped there by Sullivan. Quick play the ball, and there's a tackle from Bateman which helped the Tigers there because they're on the back foot defensively. Newcastle doing it well out of their own end on those yardage sets. For the moment though, the Tigers staying with them through the opening 10 plus minutes.
He nearly snuck through there, Dream Buller. He just lost his feet as he got through those two Brisbane defenders, Newcastle defenders. Very dangerous on the kick return, Dream Buller.
There's Staines away to Tor, who needs to get to ground. Just keeps himself away from the chalk there. Dangerous on the edges today for those wingers and centres. Trying to get to the outside as Papali'i. Play it back inside the 40. They're as good a field position as the Tigers have had before a kick. They'll go a couple of passes wide. In fact, they'll put it through their hands. Galvin on to Buller. They've got one more here. As Fainu from dummy half will feed it back. And Galvin kicks now, chasing through Naden here up against Armstrong. He planted himself underneath him and took the fullback's legs away from him. Surely Armstrong denied the chance there to make a clean catch.
Challenging.
So we can have players that are penalised because they pretend they're going for the ball, yet a bloke takes out the fullback,
On-field rulings, knock on Knights.
gets his chase complete. He didn't even know where the ball was for a moment, lost sight of it, and just careened into the fullback. Now, why do we bring the rule in
Tigers
first?
kick chasers onside.
Years ago about taking the legs of a catcher.
Naden is beaten.
Well, Naden didn't even jump for the ball there. He got himself in a position. They were both looking at the football.
This disadvantages him. The challenge is successful.
And thankfully, the bunker agrees with us.
Well, and if it had gone the other way and we were penalising the disruptor and yet you can't find a penalty there, we shouldn't even have to go to the bunker for that.
If there's a contest and the man who beats you is in the air and you're underneath him, tunnelling underneath him in the end and taking his body away from him, you've got to be penalised. The Knights here, there was a contentious one involving the Knights and the Raiders earlier this season, and stunningly it went the other way. Thankfully the bunker has had a rethink since those times. So Frizzell here, Sun trying to peek through once again. There's a storm front out on the ranges to the east of Scully Park, but for the moment, a little bit of sunshine poking through. Hastings comes across here to Lucas, and the Knights have a full set of 6 from inside Tigers territory.
It's not a bad one to get to. A second set of 6 there, straight up over the halfway line. They've got a full set now. Apart from that, trying to force the ball out the back. I think it was Elliott. Been dangerous in and around the ruck so far. And that's a forced error.
We're going to have a second challenge here in the space of 2 minutes.
As it came out, I thought it went backwards. That was my initial thoughts. When Elliott tried to squeeze the ball out, I thought it went back.
I'm assuming the referee blew the whistle on the advice of one of the sideline officials, but watch it again.
Adam Elliott is looking to offload the ball.
Yeah,
the ball comes free. We're just looking at other angles for some perspective to whether this is a knock-on.
The ball does come free just here, David Clemmer.
Yep.
The ball comes forward into David Clemmer's arm, which is a knock-on by Newcastle.
So he knocked it on before he even threw the pass or got his arm to the ball to knock it sideways.
I'll tell you what, he did pretty well there, Clemmer. Rather than raking at the ball, had he raked at the ball, it would have went against the Tigers, but he didn't. That was good play there by Clemmer.
So that's the end of the challenges.
Yes, with a long time to go. 67 minutes in this game for the Knights now without their challenge. And If David Clemmer, there was a little bit of gamesmanship maybe there, just trying to sneak away with one, and possibly did get away with one given what we saw. We might see a bit more of that between now and full time.
Gee, looks dangerous, Buller. Every time he gets the ball, he's a tackle breaker at the back for the Tigers. I love it when he runs rather than passing off. He's been dangerous so far.
Papali'i wearing the 13 today. Whanua Bole had that role to begin the season. John Bateman, this man, has been playing as a lock forward in recent weeks. Now here he is, just outside the Newcastle 30. Comes across to Clemmer. Backs his way inside the red zone. Oh, thrashing at his arm 4 or 5 times. Leo Thompson trying to get away. Sullivan, Grubbers, Toa is there. Oh, has he done a hamstring? Stafford Toa, on his return from an ankle injury, has done a hamstring.
Well, it would seem so. Bud Sullivan to the line, gets a great little kick in. Toa there, also Charlie Staines, but it was David Armstrong coming across from the inside that wins the race.
Gee, if he doesn't pull his hamstring that close to the line, does he score there? It pulled him up.
Oh, he scores for your life.
He was in front.
He had the head start and was in front, but you saw him react and just grab for that right hamstring immediately. Boy, that is the injury of the weekend, quite obviously, given what we've seen already in round 10. It's unbelievable set of circumstances this weekend. So Sullivan comes across now to Samuel Fainu. Tigers just 15 metres out. Distraught look on the face of Stafford to a first game back after a long-term syndesmosis injury. And now Coruscant feigns one way, comes through the middle for Clemmer. Not quite the timing there between the two of them they were looking for. Set deep on this right-hand side. Here is Jareem Buller. Staines on his outside. Buller taking some stopping though. Best gets to him. They're only a couple of metres out. Comes back to Sullivan off the left foot, taking on Dylan Lucas. What a ball! Papali'i with strength. He crashes in and has scored for the Tigers. Terrific work by Jaden Sullivan. Getting a chance for the suspended Aiden Caesar. Opened up some space and delivers that for Josh Papali'i.
Well, we know Jaden Sullivan is a player of talent. It was the kick in the previous set that got them the repeat set, got them the ball back from Jaden Sullivan. Then a big step off the left, goes back on the inside, does remarkably well there to get the ball away to Papali'i. Just watch it from front on. The big left foot beats Brayley, gets his arms free, gets through Dylan Lucas, and Papali'i just too close to the line for the defence to stop him.
Well, I think the Tigers have been pretty dangerous down the right-hand side. Their right-hand attack has created a couple of opportunities for the Harvey Norman replay. What a try for them. Sutherland, he was back to run the football. We said before the game, we saw him. That's why the Tigers have bought him, to run the ball. Papali'i right on the spot. There was no way you were going to stop him that close to the line. And they've had the better of the run of play, the Tigers, and are the first to score.
Sullivan with the conversion to make it 6-0 for the Tigers. They've got their issues, though, with Stafford Toa out of the game with that hamstring strain. So we'll see what that means as far as this reshuffle on the right-hand side is concerned.
Not an easy position to cover for the Tigers with Jake Simpkin on the bench, Alex Twall, Alex Seyfarth and Whanua Bole. So it's going to be a long 80 minutes. Now we've got, 67 left. They're going to have to play. Well, it looks like they might play. We'll have to play one of the back rowers. It'd have to be John Bateman.
Yeah,
He'll have to slide out the centres.
He has moved out in the centres the last couple of times. They've needed someone to fill in there. It's been Bateman.
They do lead those 6-0. First game of 3 right here on Super Saturdays. They work it away from their 20. Here is the try scorer. Dragons and Rabbitohs beyond this one at 5:30. And then the blockbuster. The Storm at home taking on the Sharks. An all-top of the table clash between the two of them.
Well, you'd have to say so far the move of Papali'i into the 13, into the middle of the field, has been successful. I know he's now come out to an edge because of the injury to Toa, but very involved to start the game both with and without the ball.
Here is Clemmer, takes it beyond the halfway line, backing his way down a long way again beyond the initial contact. Good metres for the front rower. And now Sullivan's kick, tumbling one, looking up into what is a drying sky. Armstrong he brings it down here and will play it just inside the Knights 20. Tuala, after that marvellous escape earlier in the game to evade the Tigers' defence and bring it back from the dead ball line. Gamble for Dane Gagai. Rainbow breaking out here in Scully Park. What a scene, boys. Remarkable. As Brayley comes across. No, I'll play it here, just short of the 40-metre line where Marzi will head back out to the left wing.
Good kick.
Might be a pot of gold there for one of these two teams today.
Kick.
There's a pot of gold here for the Newcastle Knights.
Tyson Gamble it was. That was a great kick. Kept it low, skidded across the sideline for a 40-20. Newcastle with a big chance now. Terrific kick.
Chance to hit back. Gamble from just outside the 10. Sun really breaking through now in these grey skies in northern New South Wales. It's Brayley. It's the right-hand side where Thompson takes a carry. Well commented there by Uto Ikamanu. They're deep on this left edge. Gamble comes to Hastings. Now Armstrong stepping on the inside of Bateman. He'll be tested. Good tackle though. It was fingertip stuff. Hastings comes back to Lucas. He takes them on. What a strong edge forward he is. Former outside back who has really developed in this role over the past couple of seasons under Adam O'Brien.
You can't understand what a great tackle, or how good that tackle from Bateman, moving from the back row into the centres. It looked like he was gone for all money, Armstrong. What a try saver.
From Gamble to Frizzell, out there on the right-hand side of the field. Stopped by Galvin underneath and Fainu over the top. Here's Gamble kicking, ricocheted, awkward one, Bateman taking it out of play.
That was a good set from Newcastle off the back of the 40-20 from Tyson Gamble, who put a nice one in. Here's the Bateman effort. Looked like he beat him on the inside, just got hold of that jersey. Had a couple of cracks, and then Gamble gets another very good kick away to finish the set.
So the Tigers under pressure here. Coruscant going short. Naden out wide. It sails over his head and goes beyond the touchline on the full. The Knights will have it here from 10 metres out. Trailing by 6 points. Low scoring fixture last week. They won that one 14-8 against the Warriors.
I just reckon Bradman Best back on the inside here in these slippy conditions is a hard man to handle.
Here is Brayley. And then Thompson was almost through a hole as he tripped.
I think he was.
Penalty, they sleep. Hey, boys.
It's an Happy Coruscant who stuck the leg out on the inside here. No, it was Papali'i, in fact. So he extended the left leg. There was a time in rugby league that was an automatic send-off.
It's a shocker, that one. That can break your shin.
Happy there, Goffey?
Oh, can't get any more blatant than that.
You could make a very strong case that that should be a sin bin.
It's a professional foul, isn't it?
Given the potential for injury there, man at speed like that. It stays 13 on 13 though, as Hastings comes back on the inside here for Lucas, who heads towards the uprights. And they'll split the field in two here. Hastings is left, Gamble is right. And they'll go to the 5'8", who's very wide. Here's Gagai, gets away from Brent Naden. Working hard from the inside, the Tigers' defence. Fainu was there, and so was Galvin. They're still 5 metres out. Gamble, Elliott had to reach behind him. Trying to link up there with Hastings, but he elects to take the tackle. They still have 2 more here from close range. Brayley comes to Gamble. Well, make it 6 more tackles because there's the set restart. Too long in the ruck with the Tigers there. Papali'i, similar story in that particular play of the ball. Now Hastings takes them on, runs towards Alex Twal. And the legs was John Bateman, now playing at right centre for the injured Stafford Toa. Brayley comes back through Elliott. Gamble, 6 on 6. Lockie Galvin was up very quickly. Dropped off on the effort. Happy Coruscant thought it was a one-on-one steal. Referee disagreed. Play on Newcastle. Hastings goes to Armstrong. He takes them on, looking for his second try in the NRL. They'll play it here to Brayley. Comes back to Hastings. Short ball there. Good tackle by Coruscant on Elliott. And now Brayley on the last. Searches, looking for an option. Buller is there from his knees. Brings it back to the field of play and keeps possession for the Tigers.
Oh, that's some sort of play there from Buller. We send out the other end. The Newcastle Knights have a similar sort of play to get back in the field of play. Good awareness, Buller in good position.
What a job they've done to hang on, showing some resilience there on their own line with all those tackles, 17 of them. The Newcastle Knights.
That's two very good runs from the wingers. Brent Naden backed up by Charlie Staines to get the Tigers out of trouble. Lockie Galvin with the kick.
A little pressure there, Brent. He wasn't. He did well in the end, the 18-year-old. Kick finds Armstrong. Plenty of options back there. Chihuahua is one of them. And the Knights begin 15 short of the halfway line. Here's Gagai. He brings it back to be stopped there. Tackled by Twal and also Alex Seyfarth, who's on deck now for Benji Marshall. Marzu infield again. Lane staying away for the moment after the downpour we had. And the warm-up for both teams and then into the game itself as Brayley comes to the middle for Saifiti. Coruscant is courageous as ever, throwing himself at the legs of the big front rower. Gamble chip. Out wide is Naden up against Tuwala. The ball comes forward off the West Tigers winger. And the initial call, though, is knock on against the Knights. And as we've seen, they've challenged twice, lost once.
Oh boy, gee, I think it was all Brent Naden.
A slap at the ball there, Anari Tuwala, and in the opinion of the referee, he touched it. So the Tigers might have got away with one there. Let's go downstairs to Lara Pitt.
Stafford Toa confirmation that is a hamstring injury. He's got the jersey and the boots off. Obviously won't be back today, I'm told, in quite a considerable discomfort. Not an injury he's had before, though.
A real shame after suffering that ankle injury in their first game of the season. Then it's taken him until round 10 to return, and he has that happen in just the 14th minute of the game. So it means this man, John Bateman, wearing 12 but playing as the right centre now for the Tigers. As comes to Sullivan, who will just stab one towards the corner. Armstrong is there, looks up and sees Coruscant and also Twal and Seyfarth. The Tigers have done well. Set of 6 that started deep in their own territory. They've got the Knights working away from their 10. They've rolled those yardage sets with much better effect than they did, especially in the second half last week against the Bulldogs. As Best beats them on the edge, comes to the fullback. He draws, Lucas is there, Buller stays on his feet and makes a tackle, but he rip away at the ball, and this should be 10 in the bin, and will be.
Yeah, just trying to slow it down there. Buller had a strike at the football, strips it out. He did well defensively here. Best just tried to hang on the ball as long as he could to draw him in. Got the ball on the outside, the Lucas. Buller just put his concentration straight away, rips at the footy, tries to slow it down, and 10 in the bin.
Well, Greg Marju had just played the ball. He looked to his left and found Dylan Lucas instead of his winger, Bradman Best. Must have been tempted to run himself when he saw that he had the back rower outside him, and here's the strip ball. The
At this
tackle's done
point,
now.
the tackle is complete.
Well, I'm absolutely
Doreen Buller
stunned.
then makes a stripping action at the ball, which
Why would you challenge
pulls the ball
that?
That the
free
Tigers
after the tackle is
challenge this?
complete. Challenge is unsuccessful.
That might be the biggest waste of a challenge I think we've seen for a long, long time.
Do we need to include fullbacks into the list? Doreen Buller off the field. That could be costly too.
It is your list. Yes, he is going to the bin for 10, Adam, as the rain is falling again. They went down the left-hand side, the Knights. So a big chance here, up against 12 men. and already inside the red zone. Brayley, no challenges remaining. Put that one to bed today. Saifidi here in front of the uprights. Comes to Hastings, coming out of the line quickly was Papali'i. Might see a bit more of that from the Tigers' edges, trying to stop the Knights getting to the extremities themselves. Brayley dropping back from dummy half, nothing doing there. Charlie Staines now in the fullback role, caught midfield. See how he defends on his own line in this situation. Frizzell popping it out the back. Chance for Seyfarth to dive on it. Did he come up with it? It's going to be knocked on by the Tigers, says Ziggy Pershaklasa-Adamski.
Well, more defence for the Tigers down this end. Seyfarth, great effort. Full length dive to try and get possession and take a bit of pressure off his team.
13 minutes out from half-time. Tigers have been enormous at this end of the field without the ball, but now they're a man short. See if the Knights can find a space. Armstrong, he does exactly that. Pops his nose through the line, gives it to Greg Marju, and the Knights winger scores their first try of the afternoon.
Well, if ever there was some time for the Knights to level this one up, it was now, with Dream Buller off the field, another set of 6 to the Newcastle team, and a well-run scrum play. Bradman Best back on the inside and just leaves David Armstrong up against the man that's trying to do the job out in the centres, John Bateman. He did get him. He got him by the shorts, but not enough of him to stop David Armstrong producing, who a great ball. Had it in one arm, beat Bateman, drew in the winger, and then flicked the ball out the back there. Some good stuff from David Armstrong and Newcastle.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's any surprise that the Newcastle Knights go to that left side straight away. Got on the outside of his man. Got caught a little bit flat-footed that time, John Bateman. But you can't, no substitute for pace. Come in to make the extra man, Armstrong, too quick. Got on his outside.
See how he
great offload. See you later.
Glided across the face of John Bateman then.
Well, he has been impressive in place of Kalen Ponga in the fullback jersey, with Ponga still out until round 20. So Dane Gagai kicking last week against the Warriors in that 14-8 win. Just inside the 10 here. Not a great strike, it has to be said. Bit of a mongrel punt, that one. It stays at 6 points for the Tigers with their noses in front. Next week, we bring the party to you as we head to Brisbane for Magic Round. 16 teams, 8 games, all live and ad break free during play in what is the ultimate festival of footy, Magic Round, right here on Fox League. Cannot wait to get to Suncorp Stadium for the 8-game carnival. It's such an atmosphere up there, bubbles along.
Just gets bigger every year.
And the Tigers here. Tamworth once again. 1 win, 3 losses in their 4 previous trips to Scully Park. Trying to improve that record today. Task at the moment, though, is to try and keep the Knights out here while they have Jareem Buller in the sin bin for another 7-odd minutes.
Just wonder if they'll open up a little bit with their passing. The Newcastle Knights been pretty conservative here in the first half. Got themselves back into the game now. See if they open up before half-time.
Rayleigh here waiting at dummy half. Frizzell with the play the ball. Brody Jones out there going across the top of Api Coruscant. Now here is Gamble, who puts it in the air. Everybody looking at each other for the Tigers. Olam didn't want to know about it. In the end, it bounces up for Charlie Staines. That was fortuitous because those outside backs from West, they didn't want to know about that particular catch. This man included, Justin Olam. Back to doing what he does best and charging headfirst into defenders. Now Naden. Off that left-hand side, Warren Smith along with Greg Alexander, Steve Blocker-Roach and Lara Pitt bringing you the action. The first game of 3 on Super Saturday, and the Tigers get a penalty here to help them out of their own end.
Yeah, they certainly needed that. They've played without the ball in the last 10 minutes. Not much possession going their way at all, and if it has been, it's been coming off their own try line. Sullivan's touch finder will get them to halfway.
Wait for the ball to return. In fact, Brent Naden,
He swapped over.
he's going to play on the right wing for the moment in this reshuffle. With Staines going into the fullback role, Justin Olin playing as the left winger for the Tigers.
Release now on the mark, Vanilla. Vanilla, come on, mate. That's Vanilla,
Slow play the ball here. Brayley can't get his arm free. Bolle hanging on to it. Now Galvin sends it back on the inside for Alex Twal. The Tigers go inside the 40. Midway through that sin bin period for Jareem Buller. Here is Bolle, who had the lock forward roll to begin the season. Plays it for Coruscant. Twal comes to Galvin. Comes towards the tackle there of Tyson Gamble and also Dane Gagai. Changes coming, fresh troops on the sideline for the Knights. Crossland and Hetherington waiting for their chance. I'll get through this defensive stand first though. Here is Sullivan playing it on the last. Coruscant goes to Galvin down the short side. Grabbers. Staines is there. Armstrong, they'll trap him. And the Tigers will use up some time on the clock here. Dane Gagai presented something, and Alex Seyfarth, who was involved in that situation with Reid Marnie 7 days ago against the Bulldogs, finds himself in a bit of a scrap here again today.
Well, it was David Armstrong who cleaned up the kick. It was coming from the field of play, so he slid into the in-goal area. He got hit hard as he tried to make his way back into the field of play. And then, well, it was Dane Gagai who grabbed Fainu.
He was right in his rights to make the tackle, wasn't he?
Well, Armstrong was trying to get back in the field of play, so he was.
I don't think he did anything wrong there.
Yeah, time's off. Look, we've had a really good half. It's the first time we've had coming together. We don't need it anymore. They just keep playing football. You know what happens. Thanks.
Well, the Tigers certainly know what happens after finishing the game last week with 11 men only.
They're down to 12 now.
Time on.
Familiar territory. They're well practiced, playing short. Here's Naden coming forward. Boy, there was a contest there with the ball ricocheting all the way back to Sullivan. Some big athletic bodies coming together in mid-air. From the 20. It's good for the Tigers on the attack and using up seconds, if not minutes, while they're down to 12 men. Coruscant showing it a couple of times there. Bypasses Bolle. Sullivan back on the inside for Papali'i. It was all rather laboured without anybody hitting full speed there for the Tigers. Still 10 metres out. Midway through this set. Comes to Twal charging hard. He's only a couple of metres out when he'll play it here eventually. Coruscant from dummy half. Too many bodies there it looked like. He was still digging right to the end.
I have not called.
How long is too long?
Well, he reckons he scored here.
I'm
Coruscant.
reviewing this. No try.
Look at the reaction.
Through the ruck, and Alex Twal interferes with defenders.
The Tigers are trying to sell it, but surely play had stopped at some point before Appy potentially finally found the turf.
Well, the referee said Alex Twal interfered with defenders, so you may as well call it off right now, if that's what the on-field referee thinks.
Yes, if he's in the opinion that Coruscant burrowed through the legs of Twal, there's a lot of hands there. Two of them belong to Appy Coruscant. The one that initially had the ball.
The ball is grounded on the goal line by Tigers. We're just looking to see what impact Appy has and if he bores through his own man to deny the defenders.
I could have sworn the referee blew the whistle before the point the ball hit the ground. Let's go again. Does he burrow through play the ball there?
Well, I reckon Armstrong is underneath there too, but he adjusted straight away.
Appy Coruscant bores through Alex Twal in front of him, which denies the defenders an opportunity to defend and hold the ball up. Have a decision.
How's he going to get out of the way, but?
It's a penalty here.
Well,
10 out.
the on-field ref said that immediately. He threw to the bunker with, I think he's gone through to play the ball and used Alex Twal as leverage to score the try.
Something else that happens a lot for the Tigers. No try for Api Coruscant. After his effort, of course, against the Broncos at Campbelltown, which got everybody talking. Maintain this 6-4 lead. They've done well, though, to soak up plenty of time on the clock. There's just 2 minutes remaining while they're down to 12 with Jareem Buller in the sin bin. Etherington here. Well stopped through the middle of the field. He's keen to get back into action. Gamble. Now Gagai, room to move down that right-hand side. In the end, had to put the brakes on for fear of being taken across the sideline as Armstrong waits at dummy half. And Gamble comes to Crossland. And now Hastings runs towards Bateman, who jams in from that right-hand side. Crossland out there as a running lock forward at the moment. And Brayley's still working things from dummy half. And the two of them combine here. Crossland just outside the 30. One more play from Brayley. Goes to Gamble. They're charging hard through in the middle of the field. Tyson Frizzell almost tripping over one of the Tigers in the front line. Charlie Staines makes a good grab. They work it away through Justin Olam.
Well, they wouldn't have much time left before Jareem Bullock gets onto the field, but they need to come up with those sort of plays. Big one from Charlie Staines there. They don't want to do another set on their own line. Brent Naden gets to ground, but not quick enough.
Well, that really is hard to fathom. Down to 12. And they used a shift from inside their own 20 well last week against the Bulldogs, but they had 13 players on the field. And it wasn't as slippery and greasy as it is here in Tamworth.
He's gone 5 yards on the ground, but he realised he was in trouble. He tried to beat one too many men on the outside then. Buller ready to return.
Just had to get through their set, kick it downfield, and they're probably back to 13 on 13 by the time the Knights get to the end of their ensuing set of 6. Here's Hastings down. They're in the 20. Armstrong again. Marzu puts it down this time.
Blocker, I think David Armstrong scores the try. He didn't have to throw the pass. He was past John Bateman.
Yep.
He was past John Bateman when he threw the ball. Just watch how quick he moved on the outside of Bateman. Naden was gone. He was through. He would have scored, David Armstrong.
I'm with you. Bateman again got caught flat-footed. I know it's hard to defend out there if you're a back row in the centres, but
when you're up against a gazelle
speed,
like that.
I'm with you. He should have thrown the dummy. He'd have scored.
Didn't even have to throw the dummy. He was gone. He's run past him already.
Saw that look on David Armstrong's face there. He realises perhaps the chance that he had if he just throws the dummy and goes.
I reckon the look on Bateman's face was better. Uh-oh.
His eyes were like dinner plates as Armstrong put the afterburners on. Tigers get a penalty here. Isaiah Papali'i having a bit to say about it as well. The Knights have had 23 tackles, as you just saw in our graphic, to just 8 of the Tigers inside the 20. So it's the Tigers who lead here, 6 points to 4. They had the lead last week against the Bulldogs at the break. Couldn't go on with the job. Searching for their 3rd win of the season and trying to break this 5-game losing streak. A play it there through Bulle. Comes across through Galvin. Twile out there on that left-hand side of the field.
That's 2 runs that have bent the line, Bolle and Alex Twile. Good start to the set, but a slow play the ball there.
Sullivan back on the inside, a mix up there. Bateman puts it down, and now Lucas ends up with it for Newcastle. They are back to the full complement though. Jareem Buller on field now, just working back to his full-back position. Frizzell, just over 2 minutes remaining. Boy, he pinched some metres there before to play the ball. Gamble tries to hold off Fanua Bolle. He's taken the ground eventually, and a strong tackle by Alex Seyfarth. Might have hurt Tyson Gamble as well. He puts a hand up immediately. He's got a problem here. Seyfarth wasn't the first man to make contact with him. He might have hurt Tyson Gamble as he went to ground. Just watch again. Runs to Bolle. Oh, there it is. Seyfarth in around the hip. Twile over the top.
Yeah, it's good aggressive defence there from Twile. I don't think there was anything untoward there. Just coming in. If you're near enough, you're close enough to make the tackle. Might have twisted his ankle on the way down, but it's aggressive defence there from the Tigers.
Certainly a leg problem that Tyson Gamble has, and the way he's trying to flex that ankle would suggest might be the right one.
Time on. Wait, lads.
So they've got this 30 metres out. 4 tackles remaining in this set. Bright sunlight once again. Boy, what changing conditions we've had this afternoon here in Tamworth. Great to be back in this famous country town as Hastings turns it back on the inside for Crossland. They're back deep on the attack once again. Brayley with Hastings flat at first receiver. Here is Gamble. Boy, he's one-legged at the moment. He could barely get there to make that catch. An offload though, back to Brayley, Gamble again, triple pumps it, gives it to Crossland, comes back on the right-hand side where Brodie Jones takes it to ground, and the Knights have one more play. Hastings, he looks out to the edge, kicks, Staines, turns around, thinks better of it, and will take it beyond the dead ball line.
Yeah, it's good play there. That's all about building pressure just on the stroke of half-time. The Newcastle Knights get one more effort here. Wouldn't it be a big effort if the Tigers do go in at half-time after having a man down in the sin bin? They go in at half-time 6-4.
You're going short or long here, Blocky. Coruscant, he decides to go long. Try and make the clock their friend here with 40 seconds remaining as Tuala brings it back. And they'll begin just outside the Tigers' 30. Couple of plays here at the line before the break, trying to take the lead away from West. Jones to play it. Legs tackle, quick play the ball. Hastings for Best, up against John Bateman. Good contact there. Bateman, or rather, Best just fires it infield. Hastings comes back to Gagai. Comes to the outside of Galvin, puts a kick in. Tuala is there. What a heads-up piece of play by Dane Gagai.
Well, he's been unbelievable since he's come back into the side. The Newcastle Knights, this is his 3rd week back. He's been the difference. They're going on a run now. They forced the line drop out on the Tigers. As you mentioned, Gagai, if you have a look at the replay, there's miles of space in and behind the Tigers. Perfectly weighted kick. That's an experienced player that can do that. And right on the stroke of half-time, the Newcastle Knights score. Here's Best with a strong run. Bateman come up with a good tackle too. Fires the ball back in field. Just have a look at the space on the outside. They're done for numbers. Good footwork to get on the outside there by Gagai. And a great chase through. And look at the Newcastle Knights celebrate just on the stroke of half-time.
Well, that really is playing what you see and staying in the moment. He saw that there was space beyond Naden. And Tuala hugging that touchline. Made a clean grab, got the ball down okay. And he was beaming as he rolled over. And the siren sounded barely seconds after the try was awarded.
It was good play. That's great experience shown there by Gagai. His eyes would have lit up once he had a look at the space and the paddock in behind there. Puts a perfectly weighted kick in. And for the first time in the game so far, the Knights hit the front.
Gagai's kick into the setting sun, waved away. It will be a 2-point lead here at halftime. The Knights 8, the Tigers 6. It's a tough and grinding affair between these two teams who are both trying to push their way back up towards the edge of the top 8. That combination. Here we are. The Tigers getting things back underway for the second half. Still plenty of sunshine here after we began the game in absolutely pouring rain in this part of the world. That has been a theme across the NRL for a number of weekends. It's Brodie Jones working it forward here for the Newcastle Knights. Warren Smith, Greg Alexander, Steve Roach and Lara Pitt to bring us some big news on the sideline immediately, Lara.
Yeah, some carnage here in Tamworth. John Bateman will not return to this game. The West Tigers telling us he has suffered a pec injury. For the Knights, Tyson Gamble ruled out for the remainder of the match with a foot injury. Phoenix Crossland into the halves.
So there you go, massive news for both teams. Of course, the Tigers also lost Stafford Toa in the 14th minute to a hamstring injury when he looked certain to score, chasing through a kick. Crossland into that 5/8 role for Gamble, puts the kick in, comes down here to Jareem Buller, but the Tigers, they lost Toa, Bateman went to centre, and now they've lost Bateman as well. So who's playing right centre, Brandy?
Well, I could only imagine Samuel Fain, who has moved out to the centre. So Justin Olam will play wing, and that's how it's working out here on the left.
100% right, yep.
Fain, who's in the centres.
Gee, this is a big test for the Tigers. Get into the grind. I thought they had the better of the first half, but behind on the scoreboard at half-time. Big test for them here in the second half.
So it's Coruscant from dummy half. Sullivan puts a kick in. Trailed by 2 points, the Tigers. But boy, they've got all hands too as far as their back line and now their forward pack is concerned. So we'll get a better look in this defensive set as to what they're doing. And at the moment, it's Charlie Staines back on the right wing after he filled in at fullback when Jareen Buller was in the sin bin during the first half. Brent Naden has gone to right centre. Fainu will play left centre with Justin Olam outside him on the wing. So a real change here for the Tigers. Fainu got up off a tackle there a moment ago, just flexing his bicep or elbow area. Mackay Pearce ball takes it across the halfway line. Reserve forward today, wearing 12 but coming off the bench for the Knights. Jackson Hastings, the former Tiger, puts it high in the air. Buller goes to the air to make that catch, and Bradman Best will wrap him up. So a couple of minutes gone, and very much different looking Tigers lineup to the one that started the game. It is 2 tries to 1. Tigers grabbed the opening try in the 16th minute when Isaiah Papali'i was on the end of a lovely piece of work by Jaden Sullivan, getting a chance in the 7 jersey today for the suspended Aidan Caesar. As they play for Coruscant, is Alex Twa getting going quickly, but well tackled there by Jaden Brayley. Quick play the ball. Coruscant from inside his own half, trying to get this to sit down in the end goal. It will as well. That's a terrific kick by the skipper. Coruscant has them pinned inside their own end, but a quick ball has Best away. He's got support back on the inside, throws a dummy to Buller. He finds Armstrong, and the Newcastle Knights go coast to coast. Off the back of a super kick by Coruscant, but the chase left a bit to be desired.
Well, the chase was complacent. The kick from Appy Coruscant couldn't have been better. It sat in the in-goal. Greg Marju made his way back into his own in-goal area. Look, he's 4 or 5 metres into it and then just comes back down that short side. Now, how did Charlie Staines come in then? Brent Naden was there to make the tackle on Marju. Staines had to stay on the outside and mark up on Bradman Best. But he didn't. He came in, and that's exactly what Marju wanted. Marju's not Arthur Beetson. He's not the best ball player in the competition. But Charlie Staines made him look like that.
I'll tell you what, for the Harvey Norton replay, Bradman Best positioned himself on the outside. That was a gutsy play. Not much room to play in. Takes Buller on. The pass back on the inside to the speed man in Armstrong. And what about that for a try? You know what I loved? The way they all got on board when the break was being made. The Newcastle Knights to start the second half, get on board and score the opening try.
There's no doubting the brilliance of that try out of your own in-goal area, but there's no way that Charlie Staines and Brent Naden get that wrong defensively. And I said complacent, well, that's what it was. They forgot what could happen. What could happen, and that's exactly what could happen, is Newcastle can run 100 to score a try if you're not thinking straight. Brent Naden and Charlie Staines. Naden's got him. Naden's got Marju. All of a sudden, Staines comes in and leaves that sideline open. Bradman Best quick enough to get away from the cover defence, takes on Jareen Buller. Great pass back on the inside to David Armstrong, who just loomed up in the middle of the field very quickly. He got in support so quickly, and great to see him score a try.
What a change in this game from the seconds before half-time. The Tigers led 6 points to 4. They conceded try through a great kick by Dane Gagai, finished off by Anari Tuwala. The Knights led by 2 going to the break, and now they score in the opening minutes of the second half. And what was 6-4 is now 14-6 the other way as the Knights work it away. Comes from Brayley after that left edge where Bradman Best waiting for a chance. Finished the Origin Series last year in the New South Wales team, did Bradman Best. Brandy, you were part of that selection committee, or part of that that hierarchy as John Bateman comes back to the bench. He's got to be there again, you'd imagine, to open the campaign for the Blues this season.
You would think so, Ross. Certainly on today's performance, he's been very strong.
So the kick goes down towards Jareem Buller. Tigers hoping that history doesn't repeat and they just get dominated here in the second half as the Bulldogs managed against them last week at Accor Stadium on Super Saturday. Here is Charlie Staines trying to make amends for that defensive lapse that opened the path for Marju and also Bradman Best. Papali'i here. Start of the game in the lock forward role. To move to an edge with the injury. Stafford Toa initially when Bateman went to the centres. Now Uta Ikamanu, only the 5 carries in his time on the field in the opening half. Twal again. Strong run here. Equally good tackle though by Jones. And it's Sullivan. There's chip one in behind. Marzi was back there on his own line waiting for that exact kick, and then the chase was a staggered one. Galvin came down quickly, and as a result, Marju brings it back beyond the 40.
Well, that was well done there by Galvin. I know it was some sort of run there from Marju. Galvin got beat a couple of times. Here they go, shifting to the right-hand side.
Here's Gagai into space now. He's got Tuala on his outside. Oh, the pass has been ruled forward.
And it was. It was forward. He flicked that forward out to Tuala. Marju, the powerhouse that he is, just bullocking run, beating 4 or 5 defenders. Galvin came back at him and he missed him originally, and here's the flick.
You know, the problem for the Tigers is they're getting busted on both sides of the field too. The try that came a little bit earlier was on their right side, and then they're busted down this left.
Well, it's easy to get busted when you go down there with 2 men way in front of the chase line, opening up a hole on the inside there of Lachlan Galvin. And as a result, all sorts of pressure with the kick return being 40 metres from Marju.
He's had a few big minutes, Greg Marju.
That he has. Strong bullocking winger. So Bolle here to play it for the Tigers. It goes across to Sullivan. Here's Galvin. Plenty of touches on that right-hand side of the field now, mixing things up with Jaden Sullivan. He's here at first receiver. Goes past Bolle to give it to Ikamanu and then on to Seyfarth. The ball comes out the back. That was nice from Seyfarth. Uta Ikamanu keeps it going through Sullivan, then Fainu. Gagai is there. Jones also involved in the tackle. They're 30 metres out, looking for a response to the tries either side of half-time from Newcastle. Uta Ikamanu will play it here, 25 metres out, last play, needing a result. Galvin kicks and kicks well. It just refused to sit up there for Justin Olam.
It was a good chase through there by Olam. You could just see him pin his ears back. Just the last bounce just bounced away from him. Kick a little bit too hard.
Oh, just stayed low. Just stayed low. Sat up at the end, but that was too late. 5 metres short of the try line. I thought he's going to get there. I thought it's going to sit up for Justin Olam and they'll score their much-needed try, but
now this takes a lot of petrol out of them too, the Tigers defensively. The last couple of times that the Newcastle Knights have had the ball, they've just cruised up with clean breaks. You've got to defend well in this set.
The kick going dead in goal. 7 tackles set here for the Knights, and here they are already back in Tigers territory. 3 tackles remaining in the set. Comes from Armstrong, back to Hetherington, who tries to leap over the top there of Coruscant. Good pass for Hastings. Kai Pearce-Paul, the Englishman. Real threat to offload those long arms of his. Hastings, he'll chip it in here. Staines waits for it. Nobody wants to attack it for the Tigers. What is happening? And then Buller forces Staines to go back and force the ball in the in goal. They have lost their way again after half-time.
Yeah, a number of times this afternoon there has been no one competing for the ball. They've taken the odds and allowed it to bounce. That's the sort of situation where you do not let the ball bounce. No one wanted to take it. Now, Jareen Buller, he was coming forward to the ball. It should have been his call.
Coruscant tries to chip one down the middle of the field, and Buller is there. Here he is, launching a counter-attack. Naden was with him. He goes past everybody, runs to Jones, gives it to Naden. Great tackle. Brodie Jones tracks him down 5 metres out. What a chase.
Shift left.
Buller goes to Staines. He'll take them on through the middle. Gets caught there. 6 more tackles for the Tigers. They've still got them shot to bits on the left-hand side. Papali'i doing the limbo. I don't know he got it down.
Tackle 2.
Well, it was flipped on his back, and I don't think he has got it down, Warren. Jareen Buller.
Why did Staines run the play before? They had no one on the outside. They had 3-man overlap.
Papali'i, quick play the ball, thinks he can do it on his own, gets past Tyson Frizzell. It's Armstrong and Tuala, the winger, finds himself in under the posts.
Does Pierce Paul come in to assist here to hold him up?
Well, Tuala's done an amazing job. If it's not a try, Tuala has flipped a bigger
Just looking
man
at all
on his
available
back.
angles to determine the ball is held up.
Well, that's held up for your life, is it?
Where it'll start to make its way down, but does it get there?
Nope.
I think his elbows, the fact that the arm's bent, it's just not going to make it. Oh, and then someone comes in just at the death to make sure it doesn't. This is going to be no try, held up.
Brandy, what about the shift? Staines runs the football in the middle of the park. They had numbers.
And it was still there on the next play. They had them shot to bits with 3 or 4 man overlap on the left-hand side.
Isaiah is held up in goal. Have a decision.
Anari Tuala, the right winger, this is how short they would have been. He was in under the posts, so there was no one out here.
Past the post there.
No one. What a play by Jareen Buller.
Off the short restart by this man, the captain, up at Coruscant. Took it in stride, Buller, and the way he went past the Newcastle Knights was graphic.
Well, we've spoken about David Armstrong's speed this afternoon, and we've seen examples of that. But Jareen Buller in full flight is... How graceful is he? Look, he doesn't look like he's moving that quick, but there's no one... He's left them for dead. Brodie Jones, big tackle from Jones.
Here's Sullivan, goes to Galvin. Tigers still a chance. Buller goes to the tackle there of Phoenix Crossland, who's playing at right half in the 5/8 role for the injured Tyson Gamble. Comes back through the middle, Uta Ikamanu. Play number 4, they drive him backwards a long way. Said restart here for the Tigers. And now Buller again comes to Fa'inu. Strong stop, driving in there. Nice work by Gagai and Crossland once again. They've got a full set here. Coruscant through Clemmer. Sullivan now across to Galvin. Bounces off the shoulder there of Marzu. Frizzell takes him to ground. And they're still 15 away. Coruscant. This one's a forward to take a carry. Well, they get themselves organised. It'll tip on from Clemmer. Back to Alex Twal. From the uprights. Goes back to Sullivan. Crash play. A chance on the edge. Papali'i is there this time. Scores his second try of the game off a Jaden Sullivan pass. And the Tigers eventually, having bombed a try, get there to close this game up.
Well, they should have scored a try minutes ago, but they were denied and they bungled things up, but they get a set restart, some extra tackles, and Jaden Sullivan down the right side drags in a couple. The low tackle by Hastings just doesn't get enough of it, and that allows Papali'i to skip towards the try line. Best was there. He's a powerful man, Papali'i, and does his best to just shrug away from Bradman Best and over the top of him to score and get the ball down. They had to get a result off the back of the Buller run. The chances they had, they were lucky to get a set restart and get some more goes at it, but Papali'i comes up with the desperately needed try by the Tigers.
Well, the great thing about that is they stuck at it, didn't they? He just reloaded. Papali'i was over the line, got held up, didn't get too disappointed with it, set himself again. They got the repeat set himself on the right. Now, that is a great run. You talked about his strength there. Best is a strong man. The legs tackle there from Hastings, couldn't pull him down. best over the top. They couldn't control him. Too strong. Tigers back in it.
And this man, Jaden Sullivan, has taken his chances well so far today. Couple of decisive passes for Isaiah Papali'i to score in each half. Kick stays out to the right-hand side. It remains a 4-point lead. The Knights 14, the Tigers 10. Of course, Aussie George Kambosos gets another chance in World Championship glory this weekend when he takes on Vasily Lomachenko for the vacant IBF lightweight world title. That is tomorrow in Perth. You can order the fight now on your home of big-time boxing main event. It will be a beauty. George Kambosos up against the great Ukrainian who at one stage was considered perhaps the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Kick-off taken by Staines. It's Uta Ikamada who will bring it back here for the Tigers. We've got a good one here to kick off Super Saturday with the Dragons up against the Rabbitohs. Then the Storm and the Sharks up with the table clash coming up at 7:30 right here on Fox League. Twal playing it. Comes from Coruscant away to Clemmer. Three-man tackle stops him. The Tigers have been good with their hands to this point of the second half. 7 from 7. Safe half. Looking to the outside. Probably wishes he'd passed. Another good offload though. A couple of those in back-to-back sets for the forward. Coruscant here just 40 metres out. Clemmer for Sullivan. Here is Papali'i. Takes a carry down to the 30. These are big metres for West. Coruscant had to run and slide to get there at dummy half. Nobody pushing to play that role for Coruscant. And it was clever work from him in the end so they could get the kick away.
No one thought to jump into dummy half. He was only able to just get there and scoop a pass out to Jaden Sullivan, who got a rushed kick away. But it's this time, and Benji Marshall spoke about his team learning from their recent losses. It's around this time that they need to get it together and be professional.
Let's go downstairs to Lara.
Yeah, as we just see Tyson Gamble making his way up to the sideline with the Knights on crutches, looking to be in considerable discomfort, that right foot in a moon boot, and the club saying it is looking like a serious foot injury. He will have to have scans tomorrow, but has been in considerable pain, so looking at a long-term injury there.
He did so well, thank you for that, Lara, to stay on the field. The back end of the first half, given the significant injury he suffered quite obviously. We saw him trying to move and he was really struggling, but stayed there to play a role as the Knights eventually took the lead just before the break. Tigers from their own end here. Charlie Staines brings it back within about 17 of the halfway line. Darkening skies again here in Tamworth after we begun in pouring rain. Bright sunshine towards the end of the first half. And now Coruscant, back end of this set, finds Clemmer. Boy, he covers some territory up at Coruscant. He is the halfback. You see some teams work it well. He patrols the middle of the field and then somebody else looks after the edges. Well, Coruscant tries to go sideline to sideline. Yes, he is the man who supplies the best ball as Armstrong brings it out here and the Knights begin inside their 20.
On top of that, he makes 40 tackles a game.
Usually around the legs of 120 kilogram forwards. His eyes have been just so courageous the way he goes about his football. Gagai here, Crosland looking for an option. There was nobody there moving forward in the end. It was Leo Thompson, fresh back out there, who took the carry. Now Hastings comes across to Kai Pearce-Paul, standing in tackle, still going. So rangy, he beats another tackle there of David Clemmer, and eventually they stop him 10 into Tigers territory. Last play, Hastings it is. A little wobbly bomb out towards Charlie Staines, who goes to ground in making the catch. And the Tigers will work it away from their own 10.
That was a struggle, that set for Newcastle, until Kai Pearce-Paul got the ball in his hands. It was a nice play from Jackson Hastings, took him down a short side, and Pearce-Paul, well, he took them forward 20 metres.
Yeah, you just get the feeling he's going to get the ball away. I'll tell you what, if I was coaching, I'd be saying, mate, get straight on the stripe of his shorts there. Pearce-Paul threatening all the time. Big, long, rangy forward. He will eventually get it away.
Justin Olam's strong work there comes back to Jareem Buller, who again threatened to go a long way before he's taken down by Hetherington as Twal at speed delivers a nice ball, and Sullivan likewise to Naden, pops it back on the inside but gives it straight to Jackson Hastings. We saw Naden go across the sideline in the first half, ran himself into a dead end and did the same thing there, and well, he had to pass blind because he'd run himself into a cul-de-sac again.
Well, he had to pass it because he was headed out. So he had to throw it back in. Even though Hastings was there, he had no option but to throw it anyway and hope that Hastings didn't get it. So that's a cheap turnover from the Tigers. And we just spoke about it. Benji's talking about what they're learning from their losses, and it's about this time in the game where it goes sideways for the Tigers, and it's started to in the last couple of sets.
Here is Gagai. Again, the line in the middle of the defence for the Tigers was up. On the edges, they were back. Hastings kicks here towards the sideline. Awkward grab there for Jareem Buller, but you wouldn't know it because he hit high there. The Tigers thought so, and Jackson Hastings will be penalised.
Not on that time, but every time Jareem Buller touches the ball, he's a chance to get through a defensive line. The movements that he puts on defenders, where it's just away slightly, and there's Jackson Hastings, got him right across the chops. He's so good to watch.
That ball then skidding across the turf. He's a tall man, just reached down and didn't think about it, looked like knocking it on.
Yeah, so casual, wasn't he? Throws the arm out.
A remarkable athlete. So here is Brent Naden. Played for Coruscant. Comes back to Uto Ikamanu. We've got 20 minutes remaining here after an hour of play. It's the Knights 14, Tigers 10, Team 11 versus Team 15. The Knights trying to win 3 in a row. There's Buller. Chance for Olam. Was a touch there? Yes, it was by the Knights.
Yeah, they'll get the ball back anyway. Tuala it is, just threw out the arm. Enterprising play. Just have a look how they dig right into the line. Buller's a danger man for the Newcastle Knights. He gets one-on-one, he's a hard man to stop. Strides out of tackles more often than not. Get the ball back here.
Let's see what they work for here. They'll begin the set just outside the 40. Letting a try to level things up. Uto Ikamanu it is. A step out of the tackle there of Leo Thompson. Slow play the ball. No restarting of the tackle count. Galvin goes to Buller again. Naden, better line this time. He's put the ball down. Bradman Best comes on with it. It's a knock on by the Tigers winger.
Their control has been so good for most of the afternoon.
Well, this is what they talk about. They start to fall in a little bit of hole. We talk about it before the game, about the 80 minutes. The last couple of times they've had the football forced in the touch, then a forced pass. They're the errors that start to mount as fatigue sets in. And that's been the problem for the Tigers all season.
Well, it makes it hard when you're playing from behind too. You know, there's still a try behind. Plenty of time left for them though, 18 minutes. They've got plenty of time to get it right.
Well, off the scrum win the Knights and Adam O'Brien. 18 minutes can't evaporate fast enough for him, while his team has the lead. Doing it tough up there in the coach's box, looking for win number 5. It'll drag them back to 5 wins and 5 losses after 10 rounds. And given the way they began the season behind the 8 ball, coughing up some games where they looked like they would go on with the job. I think after 10 rounds, if you said they'd be 5 and 5, Adam O'Brien probably would have taken that, knowing that Kalen Ponga had missed 3 of those games. O'Braley for Hastings. Goes out the back. Best. He beats Naden, who's losing that battle handsomely at the moment. Best giving him an absolute bath. Armstrong will play it. It comes back to Hastings off the outside of the boot. Taken dead by Coruscant. No chances there taken by the skipper. He wanted nothing to do with that.
Yeah, just look at Bradman Best. Power beats Brent Naden. He's had a great second half, Bradman Best. Holds his balance and his feet. Although getting hit from behind there. Some good stuff from Bradman Best. Finds the pass as well.
Happy, 12 seconds, let's go.
And that Nick of the right eye for most of the game now. Do they go short again?
Why not?
Out to the sideline. This time it won't go the 10.
Well, I don't know why you'd go away from what worked last time. Just put a little one up in the middle and let Dream Buller choke, because Jackson Hastings was standing there. Put it up to Jackson Hastings. Put Buller and beat him in the air comfortably.
It's amazing how teams do that. They'll score a try one way and don't go back to that play again in the course of a game. And I'd have thought Coruscant would just keep going short through the middle until the Knights could defend it. Here's Brayley. It's the Tigers doing defence now. Thompson taken down heavily there and slowly back to his feet. Hastings. Hawkeye Pierce-Paul. Plays it for Brayley again. Comes to Hastings. Here's Best. Steps back on the inside. He's beaten them point blank. There was absolutely nothing doing. And with a bit of strength and some nifty footwork as well, Bradman Best opens up the lead again for Newcastle.
And not that there's anything wrong with that ploy. Just give the ball to Bradman and see what he can do. And that's catch and pass from Jackson Hastings. Didn't try and overplay his head. Didn't try and put him into space. Just gave him the ball one-on-one. Ended up being 2-on-1. But Sullivan couldn't handle him as well. What a second half it's been for Bradman Best. Power down that right side. And Hastings has used his players down that end of the field, down that side of the field very well this afternoon.
No, you're right. He's given Bradman Best early ball. What a second half he's had. He's menacing, isn't he, once he gets one-on-one, but a couple of feeble attempts to tackle. That's fatigue setting in for the Tigers. The last couple of times they've had the football, they've turned it over and they've gifted field position to Newcastle Knights. And they don't need an invitation when you've got Best on your side. You're right about Hastings, not overplaying his hand, early ball, and Bradman Best does the rest.
When you've got a weapon like Best, you don't have to put him into space. And that's been the case this afternoon. Just give Bradman Best the ball and let him use his footwork, use his power, use his speed. And it's been on show this afternoon.
He's still just 22 years of age also, Bradman Best.
4 line breaks this afternoon from Bradman.
80th game in the NRL today, and the first 2 or 3 seasons of his NRL career had such injury problems. Arm issues, leg issues as well. Just struggled for regular time on the field, but last year played a lot of football again, quite obviously this year he's played all 10 games, and we're seeing what was such potential out of a teenager when he first burst onto the scene really blossom in front of our eyes. Gagai, he gets the flags in the air. This time it's 20 points to 10. The Knights on track for their 5th win of the season.
It's almost like the witching hour for the West Tigers, isn't it? And they get to that stage of the game, and their control had been brilliant as we watch Bradman Best. Well, the best of Best this afternoon. There's been plenty of it.
What about his balance for a
brilliant
big man?
Yep, and his ability to... Well, he hit the ground there and got back up on his feet in a split second and continued at speed.
I reckon he'd like a little bit of blood just trickling down the eye there. It's a good look.
As Jaden Sullivan gets us back underway. Doesn't take much to get you excited, Blocky, does it?
you can have that one, Block.
Just the sign of it.
Tamworth.
Well, I hope they don't put just one stitch or something in it. It's not worth getting done, is it?
Tamworth, speaking of old Tigers, home of David Brooks.
David Brooks. Jimmy Least spoils their good looks, David Brooks.
There you go.
Hey, you were just leading me in there, was.
Just leading you in, Blocky. David Brooks spoils their good looks.
What a player.
A Laurie Nichols classic. Here are the Knights. 5 on their own side of halfway. Brayley comes across to Crossland. Just like a little halfback, just serving up balls off the hip for you, Blocky.
The champion, mate. Thanks. I was in an open space too. Nearly muffed it.
Crossland on a 6'3" halfback. Here is Buller standing underneath it. Skips away from Dane Gagai, and it's eventually Jackson Hastings who makes the tackle. Charlie Staines. Tigers still with time here. Jerome Buller, form he's been in this second half. An attacking juggernaut there in the fullback, who was pushing up in support there. Naden, though, just takes the carry. Time to take a few chances perhaps through the middle and try and put Buller away against this middle third of the Knights defensive line at the back end of the game. Call of held there, so Crossland drops off, and now Coruscant Ducks back inside the 40. Didn't have the angle on the kick. Spins away from Armstrong, but he's been very solid once again here today. His speed, especially when it was 13 on 12 at the back end of that first half, really had the Tigers worried. So Best beats tackles again. Here he is. He's a one-man wrecking crew. Bradman Best leaves them in his wake once more. Jackson Hastings wrapped up there by Fainu. Hastings thought he might have not been square at marker, so played for the penalty, didn't get it. Now Margie, just like that, Knights back in good field position, put up an attacking kick at least. Elliott for Crossland, beat the tackle there of Coruscant. One more here for Newcastle. Brayley comes to the short side, Armstrong, and then he ran into a tackle from Alex Seyfarth, who gave him a bit of what for on the ground as well. Dane Gagai didn't like that. Here we go again. The red mist descending for the Tigers at the back end of the game.
Well, the call on field is that he got him across the shoulders, and I wasn't sure he's... he definitely got part of his head too, with his upper arm.
Yes.
Boys, have a second, let's go back.
You'd be surprised if the bunker didn't say to the referee, there is contact with the head. And there was no Reid Marnie this time. And Alex Seyfarth didn't use his own headers. He did against Reid Marnie last week to eventually be sin bin. Although he did use his head a little bit there at the end. Alex.
Just a nudge.
On report, is it?
Penalty here, on report, Alex Seyfarth.
I don't think there was that much in it. Got wrong-footed a little bit.
I think you're right, Bob. It looked spectacular. You know, I think the shoulder copped the brunt of the force, and the fact that the upper arm slipped up as well, which meant that there was contact, but not forceful.
Benji Marshall spoke after the game last week against the Bulldogs and said, what happened at the end of the game, well, that's not us, West Tigers. Maybe it's a work in progress. Just a little over-aggressive there, overzealous more than anything at the end there, Seyfarth. But given the replay, had to be a penalty to the Knights to try and push this out to a 2 converted try lead.
Pretty good numbers. Bradman Best, 13 runs, 213 metres, 10 tackle busts, 2 offloads, 4 line breaks.
Hop in and have a warm shower, I'd be saying.
And so, problem here for the Newcastle Knights suddenly, David Armstrong, off the back of that contact, is going to go to the dressing room for the full head injury assessment. So there'll be a reshuffle in the fullback role. Dane Gagai go to the fullback position. Here he is taking the shot at goal. He may not know that Armstrong has left the field, and they'll get at least a 20-metre restart here. Armstrong in the hands of Craig Catterick going back to the Newcastle sheds.
Well, we won't see him again this evening. That'll be it for the fullback. He's been outstanding.
Coruscant out towards the sideline. Bounces up nicely for Inari Tuala. And as you would expect, it is Dane Gagai who drops out the back to play some fullback. Saifidi. Nice runs today. Origin around the corner. Here is Frizzell. Comes towards Ollam, who was launching himself at Tyson Frizzell. Inside the Tigers 20. Try here to make it very tough for the West Tigers. Elliott had options out the back, hung on to it. Now they go left. Hastings is there. Option runner is Kai Pearce-Paul, who ends up with the football. They're 5 metres out. One more tackle here. Short side. Hastings goes to Best. He tries to put it on the toe this time. You figured they'd go to Best, and wouldn't you know it, a Bradman Best touch ends up with a great result for Newcastle. They've got the ball back. It's Thompson. Heads towards the uprights. Brayley counting heads from dummy half. Comes to Hastings, who was hit there by Clemmer. Lucas at right centre. He had support on his outside through Tuala, but hangs on to the ball. He's taken the place of Gagai, former outside back, familiar role for Dylan Lucas. He comes back to Frizzell once again, or rather Jacob Saifiti. Now it's Crossman. Ball goes to ground. Lucas cleans up. Gets away from Olam. Pops it out the back. And Olam's there to take the pass from him. Well, there you go. Nifty piece of work by Justin Olam to end up with possession for the Tigers.
Yeah, a bit messy for the Newcastle Knights down this right side then. And I know Lucas doesn't play centre all the time, but was a former centre, but a catch and pass on the previous play, and Ari Tuala runs in a try untouched.
So they're inside their 20. That's something clever here. Oh, Simpkin, fresh on the field, gets rocked by a tackle there.
Well, that's got to be on report too, if that's a penalty.
Daniel Saifiti, Botti, who makes this tackle, just launched himself at Jake Simpkin. A little whiplash there as his head rocked back. No definitive
Still don't
angle.
know where the point of the contact was, whether it was the ball and the chest and...
Suggestion that with the whiplash, his head collided with the shoulder there of Daniel Saifiti.
I reckon they might say it was a shoulder charge. What? Didn't wrap his arms around.
The bunker is still looking at this. If it was a shoulder charge, you'd imagine it would very likely be a sin bin, and the bunker must be looking at this quite closely to determine the point of contact. Now there's a problem. Ziggy Persha-Klauser-Adamski would like a word.
Direct, forceful, on report in the bin.
So the Tigers, with 7 minutes remaining, will have 13 on 12.
Isn't every tackle forceful?
So contact with the head and forceful was the word. The bunker had all the available angles, including that one we saw just before the last angle there. And so a one-man advantage here for the Tigers. What have they got left? There is certainly time on the clock for 2 tries here. They need to be good with their hands. Work it down in attacking range to begin with. That's the first part of the equation. Go wide to Sullivan. Comes out the back. Lachlan Galvin is there. Here is Jareem Buller. Trying to beat Bradman Best back on the inside. Managed to do that. Galvin had to hang on to it. Now Simpkin is okay. Interestingly, he stays on the field, not required for the HIA despite the contact. Here is Sullivan to the line. Seyfarth charging hard out here on the left edge. Just outside the 20. Coruscant dummy half. Sullivan gets away from Hetherington. Still going, Jaden Sullivan.
Well, that's better. That's what he needs to do.
One more play here. And in a result, Justin Olam gets held up by 4 Newcastle defenders. A big stop there for the Knights.
Nice play from Jaden Sullivan, and there is plenty of time. They can't come down this end and come up empty too often. Justin Olam with the crash ball. Too many nice defenders there.
Well, he's got the ability, Sullivan. He set up that try in the first half, but we just don't see it enough. What's he had 4 runs in the whole game? Got to set himself a bigger target. 3 runs in the game.
A couple of try assists for Isaiah Papali'i either side of half-time for the halfback. Of course, Aidan Caesar missing more games to come, so Sullivan has the 7 jersey for the time being. Here's Gagai. Works it away from dummy half. 5 minutes remaining. Knights, let's get conservative here. You'd imagine on these sets from their own end. Now they're down to 12 and just get to their kick and back their defence. And the Tigers side of halfway to get them to the full-time siren. Frizzell. He'll play it here for Brayley. Hastings will kick towards the corner. Buller is there, so is Naden. Almost a mix-up between them. Naden dropped off on the effort at the end, and Buller will go to ground here just outside the 20. Don't forget, 2 more games to come your way tonight on Super Saturday. The Tigers a shift from inside their own end, but the Dragons at Cogra taking on the Rabbitohs, an all-Sydney affair in the 5:30 game, and then the blockbuster. The Storm up against the Sharks at 7:30, live on Fox League from Amy Park. Clemmer beyond the 40-metre line. Tigers looking for a bit of shape and direction on this left-hand side of the field. Need a quick play the ball, just haven't managed one in this set. Galvin hands it off to Olam. Back against the grain, but well handled there. 4 minutes remaining. It's getting urgent now for the West Tigers. Comes back to Sullivan, who puts the kick up. Gagai going backwards. Makes a catch high on the chest. Beats Seyfarth. He beat Naden there, who was left on the ground. Knock, he seems to be okay, Brett Naden. Crossland will link up here with an Ari Tuala. And the Knights maybe only a set of 6 away from having done enough to get the points here today.
Well, those couple of runs there from Tuala and in particular Gagai gets them out of trouble pretty easily. And I don't think Hastings will do anything too fancy here. He'll just get to play 5 and put it into a corner again. No, that's
a ball put down. Hard pass there from Brayley to Thompson.
Well, you're not looking for deception at the moment. You're not facing the short side and then whipping around and throwing one. Well, that hit a front rower on the shoulder.
Rain coming down. You're down to 12 men.
You used to love passes like that. Well, it shouldn't happen, Block, should it? It shouldn't happen.
Benny never threw you passes like that.
Never. He threw me more dummies than passes.
And for Tigers,
this is it.
Now to give us a grandstand finish, it comes down to this set of 6 right here. And here is Galvin. Saw a bit of space before it closed, courtesy of Frizzell. Need a quick play the ball, need a couple of wins in these contests. They'll get another set of 6 here. Newcastle Knights up inside the 10. They're down a man defensively. Galvin back on the inside. Buller is there.
Well read, Newcastle.
There's nothing doing. Brayley wraps him up with the help of Dane Gagai. Here is Clemmer. Comes across to Sullivan, who kicks. Papali'i is chasing. Gagai gets back and takes it dead. That was an all-or-nothing play. And if you're going to roll the dice like that, you'd rather one of the speedsters be midfield coming in to chase the kick and not Isaiah Papali'i.
Well, and the play might have been good if Dane Gagai was out of position, but he had to work to get to the ball before Papali'i, but he got there, right? Really desperation play there from the West Tigers. We are down to 2 minutes, though. I guess they're at that stage.
Maybe a lack of communication there between Jaden Sullivan and one of the quicker men. As Clemmer brings it back, we go inside 2 minutes on the clock. Tigers staring down the barrel of a 2-win, 7-loss record for the opening 10 rounds. They had the bye in round 1. The ball comes free here from Samuela Faiinu. Papali'i cleans it up. If they could score here and kick quickly, you never know. Staines comes back to Coruscant, reaching for the heavens. Sullivan, big back line. Galvin, Olam, quick hands. Naden scores, and there is still time. Do they need to think clearly here? Do they take the kick from the sideline, or they elect not to kick and stop the clock so they get a full set of 6 from their own end?
I'd be running back. I wouldn't take the kick.
They're not taking the kick.
They're not taking it. But well, now they're undecided. Now they're wasting time.
Just using our precious seconds on the clock here. It stops for the moment after the try has been awarded.
You can't go through your full routine here. Just get on with it.
Sullivan drops back, misses to the right-hand side. And so they will get a full set of 6 thereabouts with 68 seconds remaining on the clock, and it's 20 points to 14. Good hands to the left-hand side against this 12-man Newcastle lineup.
Well, what an opening game for Super Saturday. Dragons, Bunnies, top of the table clash, Storm and Sharks to come, and we could be looking at a golden point game here. Can the Tigers pull off the miracle?
That man pulled off plenty of miracles in his playing career.
You get the hoodie off, get out there, bench.
Adam O'Brien, he can't sit down suddenly. Got one set to hang on for Newcastle. The Tigers will get the last say here in Tamworth. rainy, squally afternoon. Is there a sting in the tail? Ayunu playing it. Comes from Coruscant to Papali'i.
I think if the sting happens, it's got to involve Jareem Buller.
He's out wide of this left-hand side. They come in his direction now. Here's a shift. Galvin goes out the back. Buller to the edge, has to stay infield. Fires it infield. It ends up in the hands of Anari Tuwala. And the game ends there for the Tigers. They took a chance. They went to their best attacking weapon, but the Knights had recovered, and there were plenty of red, white and blue jumpers in front of Jareem Buller.
Yeah, just couldn't get on the outside and ran out of room, basically. Gallant, but just not good enough this afternoon, the Tigers. It was that period around the 60-minute mark where it just fell away for them, errors.
And as the siren sounds, the Knights are back level pegging with 5 wins and 5 losses in this 2024 campaign. At Scully Park in Tamworth, they've taken down the Tigers 20 points to 14.